We wouldn't be here without the Revolutionary War. And I've gone back recently in my own personal readings to try to understand more about that. How brave they were. And they were not just brave in a military sense, they were intellectually brave.
The people who were in the forefront of the revolution were people engaged in commerce because they felt most specifically and directly British interference, British taxation and limitations.
It's very interesting to think about the foundation of the nation and the fact that the country was born out of revolution and that sort of rallying spirit of win, win, win and fight back the oppressors persists.
We were effectively guerrilla fighters. We were not the Redcoats, after all.
Two things. Number one, memo to the British forces, ixnay on the red suits. That was probably not tactically the best move. Number two, if you're going up against guys who are using blankets for shoes in the middle of winter, bring your best game.
The American Revolution, in one sense, is an example of a war in which the weaker contestant prevails because it is more determined to persevere.
It's almost a little man syndrome. We've always felt a little undersized, a little underappreciated, and I think whenever you're able to take those feelings and manifest them to try to do something that's positive, to try to do something that's competitive, you give yourself a lot better chance of being successful.
The British Army was fighting for a king. The Americans were fighting for their lives. And it's not so much how much equipment you have or how much training you have. It's what's in your belly. It's what's in your heart. And you know you're fighting for your lives and the way of life, as opposed to fighting for a monarch who you may not care about or may not love, but it's your job. That's all the difference. You're going to fight harder if you're fighting for your own way of life. You're fighting for your families.
Back then, during the Revolutionary War, what really made the difference is they really believed in what they were fighting for. That's why the Americans actually had the advantage.
This was a case of hanging on in the face of the British actions long enough to where the British literally would grow weary of this and realize that it was endless. They could not prevail.
In the last analysis, the British were willing to cut a deal with the Americans in order to make sure that they could preserve their power in Europe.
Any American who wants to know what it takes to be free should study the Revolutionary War.